Hey, how's everything going, guys? Welcome to a live, a little bit of a live podcast edition of the main event talk happening right now. I am your host, the main event player, the Super C, the God among gods, the King among kings, the coolest son of a motherfucking bitch walking God's green earth right now. And I gotta tell you something, guys. I'm not exactly happy with how this is. And I think a lot of people are not exactly happy with how this is going right now. So, obviously we got to address the whole thing involving Ronda Rousey. Obviously, we knew Ronda Rousey was coming back for her title. How in the world could you possibly strip her of the title just like that? Give me a damn break. And then also what happened at the conclusion, which I'm gonna get into. I really want to get into that because I posted out a tweet that everyone saw, and I'm getting a lot of good responses about the tweet. I'll mention that tweet in just a moment. I want to talk a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more about what's gonna transpire later on. Now, before we go ahead and address the issue, there's a couple things I want to bring up. The first thing I want to bring up, I know there's been some people that have been wondering about the condition of my knee because I have posted it on my Facebook and everything. Let me kind of give you an update. I normally don't talk about anything personal that I post out and everything else like that, but I just want to let everybody know that my knee is it's still kind of sore. It's still I'm trying to walk around in it from time to time. I'm still feeling a little bit pretty much bent out of shape, so to speak, but it's coming along real nicely. I went ahead and had my knee checked out and x-rayed and everything, and there was really no broken bones of any kind that happened to my knee, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not any pain around the knee. So they recommended me to a doctor I have not seen yet, but I'll probably be seeing sometime this week if I have the opportunity because the doctors have given me some medication and everything else like that and told me to stay off my feet for a while. And hopefully my leg will get back to 100% capacity sometime within the following week. And then hopefully after the 10th. And I find it funny that when I was looking at the doctor's prescription, when I was looking at the notes and everything, the return is the date for the 10th. So that means I'm going to come back to work on the 11th. The 10th is odd because the 10th is WWE Fastlane. That's the date that's going to take place, which is going to be Sunday. So I'm going to be having a week off away from everything. That kind of sucks, but I got to do what the doctor says and everything. I got to keep my knee, in check and everything. And I got to do what I got to do and everything. It's how it is. So my knee, it's still sore, but I'm trying to take care of it as much as I can. I'm going to try and walk around in it a little bit, and like I said, I'm gonna see this doctor that they recommend me, and see what he says. I don't know how much it's gonna cost me. I hope it don't cost me too much, but we'll see what happens. That's pretty much the big update on that situation. Now, also, the main event would like to go ahead and send out my condolences to the family of there's two people who have passed away today, and it's very very sad that it happened, and I still can't believe it to this day. One is Keith Flint of the Prodigy. I'm not that big of a fan of the Prodigy, but I still remember when I first heard about him back in 1996. I heard that song. I forgot what it's called, but it was one of their biggest hits in the 90s and everything. And of course, everyone's talking about it, and it's not only addressed by the WWE, it's addressed by the entire wrestling world, and it should be addressed by everyone that knows who this individual is. Luke Perry had died at the age of 52, and he died of a massive stroke. There was some initial reports that I was looking into that he was in the hospital when his stroke, I believe, was about to begin, and I'm not sure what happened afterwards. But then again, of course, I guess after the massive stroke, that was it, and it's very very sad. I know that there's a lot of fans that are big fans of Luke Perry. I'm not that big of a Luke Perry fan. I know who he is because of the movies like 8 Seconds and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was never really a fan of 90210. I always felt like 90210 is basically like the a new version of the California Dreams, kind of like that in that particular way. But it was a very, very popular show back in the 90s. That was my opinion anyway. But the funny thing is, Luke Perry, I know he's a WWE fan. I thought he had appeared at WrestleMania 10 years ago. I thought he did. But I forgot that it was Jenny Garth that appeared at WrestleMania 10 along with Rhonda Shear and Burt Reynolds and Little Richard, and there were several other celebrities that took place at WrestleMania. And while Luke Perry is recognized in WWE, he's also recognized in All Elite Wrestling. And the reason why is the fact that we all know about his son, Jack Perry. And Jack Perry, as you know, is a AEW superstar. He's known as the Jungle Boy, and I had a chance to look at some of his picks and some of his matches as well. He's a very impressive athlete. He was actually there. I saw a video where Luke Perry was there at ringside, not at ringside exactly. He was out there in the bleachers, watching his son wrestle, and it was so cool to watch. And he was a tremendous athlete and is great. And I'm really, really glad that he is signed with AEW. But it is sad, however, that his father will not see his son become a very successful superstar. So my thoughts and my prayers and all of our thoughts and our prayers go out to Luke Perry and also to um, Keith Flint. They are superstars. They're iconic superstars of the '90s, and we should not forget them. And they're in the list of many great icons that have passed on, not just this year, but for the past few years and everything. So, and also I want to give a big shout out to my friends Mythmaker. They had a chance to listen to the main event talk, the main event thoughts episode. I had talked about the video for Dreamwalker, and I was just watching it the other day, and the music is so awesome, and the video is so tremendous as well. I mean, like I said, if you've not seen this video from Mythmaker, it's basically straight out of a horror film, and it was almost like one of those videos that come off of a soundtrack of a movie, and it's beautifully done. And like I said, I love and I believe it was my good friend Mark Anthony, who's also a member of Mythmaker, that said that Sal Hernandez had a lot to do with the making of the video. So big shout out to Sal, big shout out to Mythmaker, John Luna, the best drummer on the planet, my good friend Homestar Runner, you know him quite well as Hector Juarez, and also one of my longtime best friends, Mark Anthony Pantoja, Antoire, and to the two other members. And like I said, I apologize for not mentioning their names. The video is a hit. Everyone is loving the hell out of it. And if you guys have not subscribed to Mythmaker on YouTube, you need to check out the promos. You need to also check out the videos. And also, no doubt, there's going to be some concerts and some stuff they're going to be working on sometime in the near future. So if you guys want to, go to the Facebook at, look for Facebook, I think it's facebook.com/Mythmaker. And I believe you can also follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/@Mythmaker. And also the same on Instagram, instagram.com/Mythmaker. Follow the band, follow the video, follow the music, and I guarantee you will love what these guys do. It's basically like a combination of, I would have to say, I think I mentioned this before, like All That Remains, Kill Switch Engage, some Suffocation, a little bit around there, maybe a little bit of Sepultura around there, kind of that style of music and everything. So, guys, when you can, get a chance to listen to Mythmaker when you can on YouTube. So, we've got to address what went on Monday Night Raw. We've got to address what has happened, and it's there's going to be a few clips that I'm going to be talking about. Obviously, the biggest part is what I saw at the end, and I wasn't exactly too happy with it. And I'm going to mention it right away. And also, before I go ahead and decide to talk about Raw, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite all-time personalities, one of the greatest managers of all time. He has his own podcast. He has two different podcasts. He was supposed to have done one today, and he was also supposed to have done another one. Well, actually, he's doing another one called The Experience, the Jim Cornette Experience and Corny's Drive-Thru. I'm talking about the legendary Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette, as you guys know, he's one of the greatest managers of all time. He managed many of the greatest tag teams, including the Midnight Express of Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan from back in the day. I mean, those were unquestionably one of the greatest tag teams, including the Heavenly Bodies. That was one of my favorites of all time. And Jim Cornette, and this is not leaked out yet, but no doubt it's already probably leaked out already somewhere. But I believe Jim Cornette is actually going to be a commentator for the MLW Wrestling, the Major League Wrestling. You guys probably have heard about that promotion going on. He's actually going to be a commentator for it. There's been several picks and several things featuring Jim Cornette, and no doubt he's going to be talking about it on the Jim Cornette Experience. So if you guys are huge fans of Jim Cornette, go to the official Jim Cornette YouTube page and you'll find out some information about it. I don't think he's going to talk about it just yet, but I know he'll talk about the experience this coming Thursday to talk about his involvement with Major League Wrestling. I can't wait for that. Now, let's get to the whole thing with Raw. Let's get to the whole thing. Of course, it wasn't a huge surprise that Roman Reigns shows up. It wasn't a huge surprise that Seth Rollins would show up either. It wasn't even a big surprise that Dean Ambrose showed up either, and the way it was all set up and everything. And of course, all of us knew exactly where this was going. You saw it coming. I saw it coming. It was not a big surprise to anybody, okay? And what is it? Let me tell you exactly what it is. I mean, the Shield getting back together. Was it going to happen? The answer is yes. Should it happen? The answer is actually no. Let me explain how this goes. I love the idea of the Shield getting back together, but I'm hoping it is just one time, and I'm hoping that, all of us were hoping that Roman Reigns wouldn't return back to the ring until possibly maybe another month, or maybe until after WrestleMania. It just seems very obvious to me that I don't think Roman Reigns is going to be a part of the Universal Championship against Brock Lesnar. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that should even happen at all. As a matter of fact, we should leave Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. That's what needs to take place. That right there is the only thing that's good right now at WrestleMania. The only thing that's good, and I'll explain that later on. Now, it wasn't a surprise that the Shield would get back together at the end. It wasn't even a surprise that it was going to take place, but however, it was a surprise. Well, actually, it shouldn't be a surprise anyway. That the Shield, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, the three men, the Hounds of Justice, are going to be taking on the team of Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, and Drew McIntyre. Holy crap, I almost messed up his name there. And while it's good that it's going to take place, it's almost like we've seen this before somewhere. I don't know where exactly. I think it was probably a few months back. I think it was somewhere probably before or after Survivor Series. I'm not sure. But I know this. I know that it's crazy to see this happen, and it was going to happen one way or another, because the reports were already going out last week that it was already going to happen. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns are going to come back together as a Shield. And then what about this whole thing with Dean Ambrose? About the fact that his contract, he hasn't renewed his contract yet. And the question is, I don't know when his actual contract is going to take place, but I know, I think it's somewhere probably at the end of WrestleMania or maybe after WrestleMania, but they're already trying to put plans into putting Dean Ambrose in some, I guess, big plans for Dean Ambrose after his contract expires or something. I was reading these reports, and I think all of us probably know that this is going to be a work somehow. Well, I think it's all this time. I think Dean Ambrose just needed attention somehow. And here's the thing: while I'm glad that Dean Ambrose is back to his old self, I got to admit that this whole thing. I mean, while the idea of Dean Ambrose being a heel was good, it was okay, it was just right, but it didn't get it didn't get the initial reaction that everyone wanted. I think that Dean Ambrose won the Intercontinental Championship, and I wish that the whole thing with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose could have been more exciting if the matchup was, say, because it took place over at TLC around 2018. The matchup should have been a TLC match for the Intercontinental Championship instead of a singles match because it was just straight ridiculous. It was straight boring. Even Seth Rollins had addressed that the matchup was boring. The fans didn't like it, and Seth feels that he's responsible for that. You know, but now Dean Ambrose is back as his old self again, and now we don't have to worry about it. And now that the Shield is back together, now we're going to get the Shield to take on Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and oh my God, I missed somebody. I missed somebody here. Let's see, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Oh, yes, right, Baron Corbin. Him. I forgot he's still there. But nonetheless, that's going to take place at Fastlane. And there's a few other matches that are going to take place at Fastlane, which I will address in just a moment. Besides that, I would talk about the rest of Monday Night Raw, but there's really no point in talking about any of those because there were some good matches that took place on Monday Night Raw. You know what? There is one thing we got to address, and that's the whole thing with Triple H. Yes, Triple H, obviously, he wanted to talk about what has transpired with Batista, and Batista, did what he did and everything. And then Batista, I think there was some video that showed that he wasn't going to show up in Philadelphia because he hated Philadelphia, and there was a reason for that. I mean, after all, that Philadelphia crowd did boo Batista a lot a while back. You guys probably remember that moment quite well. But anyways, it almost seems like Triple H and Batista are already headed to WrestleMania, and I cannot wait to see how these promos are going to be. It's just the first of many. I'm hoping that we'll see one appearance by Triple H, one appearance by Batista, back and forth, and see how all this goes. Will Ric Flair be a part of this in any way possible, or will it just be a one-on-one match? I think it should be a one-on-one match between the Game and Batista at WrestleMania, but we'll see how this goes. Will they be able to escalate this further into Fastlane coming up this Sunday to build up WrestleMania? To me personally, I think they should. I think we should see Triple H come out, and I think we should see Batista come out as well, but have him come at a point where, say, Batista shows up and he attacks Triple H, or better yet, say Batista shows up, he's a part of the crowd, right? Like he's a part of the audience and he's just there, minding his own business, and then Triple H comes out and wonders what he's doing, and Batista will come out with his ticket in his hand and start telling him stuff. Hey, I'm a fan. You can't touch me. I'm a fan. You can't touch me. And that's one of those heelish things that people would like to do, and it works sometimes. You go ahead and you're this great heel, and you want to go ahead and piss off someone like Triple H. Triple H comes out and tries to tell you get the hell out. No, I got a right to be here. I got a right to be here. Everything else like that. I don't think at Fastlane, but that would be something to look at. That would be something to look forward into. So Triple H, will we see Triple H and Batista appear at Fastlane? Who knows? We'll have to find out this Sunday, live as it happens on the WWE Network. All right. So we've talked about that issue. We've also talked about a couple of things. Let's talk about Fastlane for a moment. As you can tell, I'm drinking a Pepsi right now. live on this podcast edition of the Main Event Talk happening right now. So Fastlane, so far the matches that are going to take place are going to be tremendous. So we've already talked about the Shield taking on Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. That's going to take place this Sunday. And also, the WWE Championship matchup is going to take place at Fastlane as Daniel Bryan defends the WWE Championship against, originally it was supposed to be Kofi Kingston, but now it's going to be Kevin Owens one-on-one for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. Will Kofi Kingston play any sort of role in this championship matchup? You guys have to find out this coming Sunday at Fastlane. And also, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, it's going to be the champion, Asuka, to defend her championship against the number one contender, the Golden Goddess, God's greatest creation, Mandy Rose. Now, here's the thing, and I will address this because I can, and it's true. Now, Asuka is the only superstar that should be talked about a whole lot more than Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda Rousey. Okay? That's the truth. That's the truth whether anybody likes her or not. Asuka, who had been sidelined. Let me kind of give you my view of how all this goes. So Asuka, her undefeated streak came to an end at WrestleMania at the hands of Charlotte. And Asuka could not get back on the top of the WWE mountain. And basically, and this is how I see things, they basically screwed Asuka out of any chance of her being at the top at all. And then, at the end of 2018, they go ahead and decide, you know what? The SmackDown Women's Championship don't mean crap. We'll go ahead and put that championship around your waist, and you don't have to worry about Becky Lynch. You don't have to worry about Charlotte Flair. So we're going to put the title on you. And that's exactly what they did. They put the title, they put the SmackDown Women's Championship on Asuka, and she becomes a hit. She becomes the wonder. And then they go ahead and decide to put a one-on-one match for the SmackDown Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble, put Asuka against Becky Lynch. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the huge kicker right here. You had Asuka make Becky Lynch tap out at the Royal Rumble. You had her tap out at the Royal Rumble, and you figured Asuka would be worth something, right? Asuka would be a big frontliner. She would be a headliner. A huge main event star. No, she's at the bottom of the fucking barrel. While people like Becky and Charlotte and Ronda are at the top of the food chain. So even though Asuka has a championship title in her hands, why isn't she in their level? Well, no. Let me correct that. She is in their level. Absolutely. 100%. But the WWE, like anything else, like anything they've done in the past several weeks to the past months, have not been able to use Asuka properly. So what did they do? They decide that they're going to go ahead and give her a chance to defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against not Carmella, not Naomi. They give her an opportunity at the championship against Mandy Rose. Oh yeah, Mandy Rose. Now, let me talk about Mandy Rose for a moment. Mandy Rose, a beautiful, gorgeous woman. Mandy Rose is 10 times better than Eva Marie. Yes, 10 times better. She's got the blonde hair going. She's got the figure going. She has worked her ass off. That's the truth, okay? She has. However, to me and to the rest of the entire WWE universe and to the entire wrestling world, she doesn't deserve an opportunity at that championship. She doesn't. Even though she had a pinfall victory over Asuka on a SmackDown Live event, she doesn't deserve the championship. Even though she had her friend Sonya Deville, who, my opinion, needs to be in the title picture against Asuka, yet they go ahead and give it to Mandy Rose. She doesn't deserve a chance at the title. Either way you see it, Mandy Rose does not deserve a shot at the title. But unfortunately, at Fastlane, that's what's going to happen. So at Fastlane, it's going to be Asuka versus Mandy Rose for the SmackDown Women's Championship. If it ends up at a point where Mandy Rose beats Asuka and wins the championship, everyone is going to be pissed off. Everyone is going to say the same thing: she doesn't deserve it. Everyone is going to say, you know what? Mandy Rose is hot. Mandy Rose is badass. Mandy Rose is God's greatest creation. But God's greatest creation is Asuka. That's the truth. That's the way it goes. And that's as far as it will go. So we'll see what happens. Oh, and by the way, I think I heard something about an initial report about her having an injury of some kind at a live event that took place last night. I didn't read much into it, but I'm going to have to read into it as soon as possible. Hopefully that doesn't take any sort of effect at Fastlane this Sunday. She will make an appearance tomorrow night on SmackDown Live, so we'll see how that shit goes. So that's what's going to take place as well. And let's see, what else can we talk about? We talked about the WWE Championship matchup. We talked about the Shield. We talked about the Raw Women's Champion. No, not the Raw Women's Championship. We talked about the SmackDown Women's Championship. Let's talk about the tag team titles. Let's talk about Shane McMahon and The Miz taking on the Usos for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship. Now, I don't think it's any secret that The Miz and Shane McMahon are not exactly a good team. Let me correct that. They're a great team, but for that one time only. That was it. At the Royal Rumble, they took the titles from the bar. They let it go, right? And then, all of a sudden, when it was over, when it was said and done, Shane McMahon and The Miz walked away with the tag team titles. While I was glad that Shane McMahon was a champion, not so much with The Miz. And everybody knows how I feel about The Miz. FTM, how that goes. And then here comes Elimination Chamber. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're going to hold on to the tag team titles a little bit while longer, because as you know, Jimmy Uso was arrested. And I figured the punishment should be to take this tag team opportunity away from them. No, instead they went ahead and decided to the tag team championship to the Usos. And that's what happened. And Shane McMahon and The Miz lose the tag team titles, and then it was over. The dream is done. We all died, and we said, oh my God, it's yeah, that's it. And then comes comes SmackDown. Tuesday night SmackDown. SmackDown Live as it takes place. And we figured this is all coming to an end, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute. They are given a rematch clause. But wait a minute, hold on a second. They're not supposed to even get an opportunity at the tag team titles. They're not even supposed to go ahead and be handed the tag team titles. They need to earn their spots. They need to beat the best tag team instead of just be given a shot. And that's exactly what The Miz did. The Miz manipulated. He played his game like he always does. And then he goes ahead and tells Shane McMahon. And then Shane McMahon decides, okay, you're on. The rematch takes place. The rematch is going to happen at Fastlane. These two teams are going to go at it at Fastlane for the SmackDown Tag Team Live titles. Tag team titles. And here's also a thing you need to know. I think that the Usos will win the tag team titles. Yes, the Usos will win the tag team titles and move on to WrestleMania. And then also, Shane McMahon and The Miz are going to move on to WrestleMania as well. Oh yeah, it's going to happen because like any other person, like a great musician or a great magician, that understands how all this is coming to play. While at WrestleMania, you got Triple H versus Batista. Great matchup going to take place. You got Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, to defend the championship against Seth Rollins. That's another great matchup. Another great match that's going to take place. It's going to be The Miz taking on Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. We all see it coming. You know it's coming. It's coming in the air. You can smell it. And all I can say is, I hope we see The Miz versus Shane McMahon. And the reason why I want to see Shane McMahon versus The Miz at WrestleMania is for two reasons. Number one, I hate The Miz. Number two, I love Shane McMahon. Number three, Shane McMahon is a better athlete than The Miz. Number four, Shane McMahon is a way better heel than The Miz. That's the truth. And number five, whether The Miz likes it or not, he may be an A-lister of some kind, but a McMahon is always A-list regardless. So, at Sunday, this coming Sunday at Fastlane, Shane McMahon and The Miz will put on a good show. They'll do what they can like they did last time, and then something will mess up, and it's either going to be The Miz's fault or Shane's fault. And to me, I see Shane McMahon messing up, and The Miz will turn on him at Fastlane. That's going to take place. I see it coming. You see it coming. It's going to take place at Fastlane for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. No doubt. It's going to take place. And so far, those are probably the only matches that are going to take place at Fastlane. But wait a minute. We got one more match we got to talk about that's going to take place at Fastlane, which now leads me to what happened at the end of Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about the end of Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about the great travesty that took place at Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about the first time in the history of the WWE that the WWE has chosen to fuck up WrestleMania. That's right. They chose to fuck up WrestleMania. They chose to fuck up the biggest main event in all of sports entertainment. Let's watch, let's review, shall we? Or let's listen if you don't mind. So, this whole thing involving Becky Lynch, and this whole thing involving Charlotte, and this whole thing with Ronda Rousey. It was tremendous. It was good. And all we wanted, are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you listening to the main event live as it happens on YouTube? I want you to listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the truth. This is the truth. We know it. The fact that all we wanted was a one-on-one match. A one-on-one match at WrestleMania. All we wanted was Ronda Rousey to defend the Raw Women's Championship against Becky Lynch. That's all we want. That is the biggest match in the history of WrestleMania. That is the headliner right there. There's nothing else to add. You don't want to add anything else to it. It's going to be the first time ever that a matchup of this magnitude would headline WrestleMania. It would main event WrestleMania. It would be the first time ever that the women in WWE, especially two of its biggest stars, to compete at WrestleMania in front of over 70, if not 80,000 fans over at the MetLife Stadium. It's big. It's huge. It's tremendous. It's what everybody wants. But the WWE, with their stupid little creative minds, are thinking, you know what? We need to add Charlotte Flair. We need to add her in the match because it's best for business. It's right. It's going to draw money. It's going to draw heat. And yes, Charlotte is drawing a lot of heat. And she's drawing a lot of things too. The only thing she needs to draw is a big coffin, because that's exactly where she needs to go, into a fucking coffin, because none of us want her. The WWE's idea of a WrestleMania main event is a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey defending the title against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. That's what the WWE sees. We do not want to see it. We don't want it to happen at all. It may draw money. It may be big. Maybe huge in every way possible. But no matter what, it's going to be the WWE Universe over the WWE. You see, there's this old expression that I've heard from Mr. McMahon and I've heard from other people that nothing is bigger than the WWE. You know what? And I want everyone to listen to this. I want everyone to listen to this with the sound of my voice. The McMahons are right. The McMahons are right. Yes. Nothing is bigger than the WWE. Nothing. Not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not The Rock. Not Lynch. Not D-Generation X. Not Ric Flair. Not Hulk Hogan. Not Bret the Hitman Hart. Not Shawn Michaels. Not Triple H. Not Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. Not the Macho Man Randy Savage. Not Roddy Piper. Nobody is bigger than the WWE. However, there is an exception. Yes, there is an exception. And the exception to the rule goes like this. Yes, none of these superstars are bigger than the WWE. Ronda Rousey's not bigger than the WWE. Not even Charlotte, not even Becky. Nobody is bigger than the WWE. But one element that the WWE forgot to mention. One element is bigger than the WWE. You know what it is? Let me tell you exactly what it is. It's me. I'm bigger than the WWE. The audience that's listening to my main event talk right now is bigger than the WWE. Everybody that was watching Monday Night Raw is bigger than the WWE. Everybody that was watching everything that took place on YouTube, on social media, and everything is bigger than the WWE. And you want to know why I said that? Because there are millions and millions of fans all over the world that know exactly what I'm talking about. When I say we don't want to see it, we don't want a triple threat match, we don't want this to take place at all. But unfortunately, that's the WWE's call. The WWE is about this small. To us, it's that small. Because they want a triple threat match for WrestleMania. But the WWE Universe, every single pro wrestling fan out there that wants to watch WrestleMania, want to see Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, and that is bigger than anything you can possibly imagine. And it's not bigger than the WWE. Not while the fans are a whole lot bigger. Think about that. So what happened tonight? What happened tonight was simple. I mentioned on my main event talk episode, or my main event thought episode, where I said that if they choose to go ahead and make something happen and make this right, they should put Charlotte Flair in the match, which they did for Fastlane. But the match should be against Ronda Rousey, but it should be a one-on-one match. And in this one-on-one match, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair at Fastlane. That is the match that should happen. Now, if Charlotte Flair wins, Becky Lynch is out, and Charlotte is in, and we get the main event match for WrestleMania right there. Charlotte versus Ronda. However, if Ronda Rousey wants to win and beat Charlotte Flair in the middle of the ring, then she will not only eliminate Charlotte Flair, she will also have an opportunity at the one that deserved the opportunity to face her at WrestleMania, Becky Lynch. Now that is a proper storyline. That is the way to go. That is the way to fix the idea, to fix the storyline, to fix the problem. And instead, as I said, the WWE is doing it their way. They're doing it the way they want to. And how are they going to do this? So tonight on Raw, Ronda Rousey, well, actually, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are put together in the ring, and they go ahead and decide to sign a contract or something like that, where Becky Lynch will go one-on-one against Charlotte Flair. And if Becky Lynch wins, she's added to the match at WrestleMania. Oh, that doesn't, no, nobody likes that idea. Nobody. I don't give a damn who you are. Nobody likes that at all. And it was going to be for the Raw Women's Championship. But however, Ronda Rousey is coming down the aisle, or actually she's coming down from the back, on her way to not only claim her championship, but she went ahead and put a beat down on Becky Lynch. And let me tell you something. I love it. I dig it. And I'll tell you this. I love Becky Lynch. You know how this goes, and it works out the way it is. But you can't say that Becky Lynch didn't have this coming, because she did. And while a lot of people are probably saying that Ronda has turned heel, boys, let me clue you in on something. The fans still like her. Okay? The fans are still cheering her. So while every person decides that they're going to go ahead and say, well, Ronda Rousey turned bad guy. She beat the shit out of Charlotte. She beat the shit out of Becky. And the fans are just going to boo Ronda. They're not going to boo Becky. That's not the fucking point. The point is Ronda needs to remain a face. She's still a face as far as I'm concerned. She hasn't turned heel yet. And Becky Lynch is still being cheered by the fans. And like I said, it doesn't matter if the fans are going to dislike what she does, Becky Lynch that is, or doesn't like what she does. They're still going to cheer her. The point is, Becky Lynch is still who she is, and they'll still like her. Ronda Rousey, they may not like her, but they're going to cheer her. That's the idea. That's the point. Now, Charlotte Flair is unfortunately given the open task to take her on at Fastlane. So at Fastlane, you got Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, and no title on the line, but if Becky Lynch wins, she gets added. Oh my God. So basically, we're given a match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte. A match that I don't mind seeing. It's going to be a great match at Fastlane. It's going to be great. But it's not exactly what we want, is it? No, none of us want this. None of us had asked for this. I've even said it on my tweet. If you look at the very beginning of my show, and as soon as, when you get done and everything, you'll notice that I put together, I posted a tweet out that says, congratulations to the WWE for fucking up the biggest match in all of WrestleMania, and now you're going to give us a match at WrestleMania that we're not going to watch and we're not going to like at all. And it's true. We're not going to like it. Yes, it's going to be a big match. And yes, all see this matchup take place, but unfortunately, as I stated before, I don't know how many times I have to say this. We don't want to see Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. That doesn't fucking work, all right? You put that matchup after WrestleMania. You put that after WrestleMania. You give us what we want. You give us exactly what you give us Becky Lynch. You give us Ronda Rousey for the WWE Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. That will be your biggest draw. That will be your biggest main event, and everyone's going to want to watch that. Now, the WWE decides they're going to go ahead and fuck with everybody and say, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do exactly what we want. We're going to give the audience what we want. Yeah, that whole crap about us being the authority, you're full of shit. I think you suck and you have no idea what you want. So the only thing that I see out of this situation is this. Yes, Fastlane is going to contain Ronda Rousey. No, I'm sorry. It's going to contain Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And if Becky wins, she's added to WrestleMania. Yeah. Like she has to earn it twice, right? She has to earn it twice. I think the matchup should be simple. If WWE is smart enough, if you want to go ahead and send them this message, if you want to go ahead and send this video over to the WWE and have them listen to the main event, this is what I think should be done. Now, the matchup is good. Let me tell you how to fix this. You got Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. You got the matchup taking place. It's done. Okay? And obviously, if Becky Lynch wins, she's added. But to me, the matchup should change. I think if Becky wins, she should not only have her match at WrestleMania, she should have Charlotte removed from WrestleMania. Yeah, absolutely. Because we all know that Charlotte didn't earn her way in this matchup anyway. I mean, think about it. I mean, don't you think that Becky has been talking about this whole crap about Charlotte Flair being added to a match that she doesn't belong? I mean, look at what happened last year. I mean, it was supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam, and yet Charlotte decides to add herself in the match because she's Charlotte Flair. Oh God. And this is exactly what's happening all over again. Storyline or not, I don't give a rat's ass. The point of all this is the fact that you're adding Charlotte to a match that she doesn't deserve to be a part of. We want Becky, we want Ronda at WrestleMania. It's a big situation. But no, the WWE wants to fuck with us. The WWE tells us to go fuck ourselves, and this is what's going to happen. So yeah, WWE can tell us to go fuck ourselves. Well, let me tell you something, WWE. We say you go fuck yourself. Let's see. Let me review something here. Let me look at some of the things that I know. I understand that you lost about 500,000 subscribers to the WWE network, right? You had 500,000 that subscribed to the WWE network about a year ago when Ronda Rousey made her debut. And then at the end of 2018, you lost 500,000 subscribers. Yeah, I know about that, and everybody else knows about that too. So are you going to lose about 500,000 more? How about what happens if you lose 1 million? What if you lose more than 1 million? They're supposed to understand that, yes, we're supposed to put smiles on people's faces. You're not exactly doing a good job. Monday Night Raw was a tremendous show. Monday Night Raw was awesome. The end absolutely sucked. So here's how I'm going to view things with the WWE. You guys are going to have to fix the problem this Sunday at Fastlane. You're going to have to find a way to give us exactly what we want. Because we're on the road to WrestleMania. We are on the fast lane on the road to WrestleMania. That's what it is. And while you choose to go ahead and undermine and insult the WWE's intelligence, and choose to insult the WWE Universe's intelligence, we are sitting back and we're having a beer over at a bar called Theo's and discussing this matter and wondering what the fuck. Why can't they fix this problem? Why can't they fix this problem today? Why can't they just give us what we want? We're getting closer and closer to WrestleMania, guys. And understand this. Wrestling fan of the world, and everyone else is going to complain and everything else like that. So will I. I will complain. And the sad part about this whole situation, I'm still going to be watching WWE. The sad part about it is I'm going to be watching Fastlane. That's how it goes. And one thing's for certain. While a guy like me, a wrestling fan like me, will stay with the WWE and watch Fastlane and watch how all this goes, there's going to be maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 5, 10, 20, maybe over 100,000 subscribers that will leave the WWE network and never want to come back. And all because you guys want to throw us a match that we don't want. So WWE, the ultimatum is simple. You give us what we want, and we'll come back. So at Fastlane, it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And if Becky Lynch wins, she's at it. Fine. We're going to watch it anyway. But unfortunately for the WWE, they're going to be losing a lot of viewership. They're going to be losing a lot of people. And we're going to say to ourselves, WWE, you go fuck yourselves. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. So, since I'm done, I'm almost finished anyway, and I feel a need to go ahead and eat whatever I have left over and drink my Pepsi. And then after I get done drinking my Pepsi, maybe I'll have a beer or whatever. Well, actually, I can't have a beer anyway because I still got to rehab from this knee and everything else like that. So I hope you have enjoyed this little rant that I've done on this episode of the Main Event Talk. Don't forget, WWE Fastlane is this Sunday happening on the WWE Network live Sunday, March 10th. And you heard about the matches. You know about what's going to take place. Everything is going to happen. And I'm going to be all over social media in the next couple of days. I'm going to be blowing up like crazy. I'm going to probably tell the WWE to go fuck themselves until they fix this match. And if they can fix this match sooner than later, then that's going to be tremendous. If they can't, then WrestleMania is going to be a huge dive. A huge fucking dive. It's going to be a nosedive all the way to the fucking grave. WrestleMania looks good right now, but it would be a lot better if it was Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown for the Raw Women's Championship. The main event of WrestleMania 35. That is what it should be. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Main Event Talk. Don't forget to watch SmackDown this coming Tuesday night, which is tomorrow, by the way. Also, watch 205 Live as it happens on the WWE Network. Check out NXT. That's going to take place this coming Wednesday. And also, this Sunday, live on the WWE Network, it's WWE Fastlane. We are on the Fastlane track, on the road to possibly the worst WrestleMania in the history of the WWE. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and hopefully my knee gets better. Hopefully everything turns out well. And if nothing turns out well, then what's going to happen at WrestleMania will be like Texas weather. Think about it. Because Texas weather over here, we all expect spring to be next week, but we know spring is going to take place around April. That's how fucked up this is. Just like what happened at WrestleMania. They're going to fuck us one way or another. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I'm out of here. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast, and I shall return with another installing episode of the Main Event Talk or the Main Event Thoughts. Either way possible. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/@maineventplayer. You can also follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/@maineventplayer. Also follow my Facebook page at facebook.com/@real main event talk. And you can also subscribe to this video and so much more. Guys, thank you for listening. I'm out of here. I'm going to do what I have to do. So I'll see you next time with another thrilling and ranting installment of the episode of the Main Event Talk. Thank you for listening. And don't forget, as always, the Main Event would like to press these enhancing words to every single individual that's listening to this ungodly podcast as we speak. Why? Because I can and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. WWE, do me a favor and please make these arrangements for WrestleMania and please fix this bloody match while you can. If not, do us all a favor and go fuck yourselves. Cheerio.